everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Karen Buechs. It's been a while. January, everybody was tired, so I didn't do any shows. This is live tonight. I have a wonderful guest. We've been friends for a long time. I've known this gentleman. He is quite good at what he does. He's the chair of the Historic District Board Commission and a businessman here in Plymouth. Please welcome Mike Towne.
Hey, Karen, thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're
My
welcome.
pleasure.
You're welcome, Mike. You've done a lot. You're a very well-rounded man. You've seen a lot in Plymouth. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, how long have you been here in Plymouth?
So I've been in Plymouth about 20 years, moved down from the Boston area, Hyde Park. Been here, for about 20 years now.
20 years.
And we recently bought a house downtown, walking distance. So we love walking down to restaurants, bars, walking around the waterfront, seeing all the beautiful sights in Plymouth.
That's wonderful. That's a perfect place to be.
Yeah, we love it.
I know, and I know you are a restaurant connoisseur because you have told me in the past where to go. The food is great, and I appreciated that. You've had a lot of businesses and successful in each. But let's start with that first one. When I was first introduced to you, I think it was like 20 years ago. Not sure, but you had a pedicab business. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the pedicabs. It was about 8 or 10 years ago.
8 or 10.
Yeah, time flies. I was in Florida and saw the pedicabs in Fort Lauderdale and just thought what a good idea it would be for Plymouth, moving people around. It was always discussions about moving people around the town. So I thought that would be a good idea. So I came and looked into it. There was nothing like that ever, obviously, in Plymouth, so I had to work with the town for approval and help develop regulations similar to taxi regulations. So put some work into that and then started it, and it just started off great. It was fun. I did a lot of the riding myself, so I was in the best shape of my life during that time.
I remember.
But it was enjoyable. I loved talking to people, driving around, being in the waterfront area. You couldn't ask for anything better.
I remember because I was there that night at Town Hall at the Selectmen's meeting when you came in. And I forget who I asked, but I asked somebody, I said, who is that? And the person said, that's Mike Towne. I said, oh, okay. You made your presentation, and they were intrigued, but you were so smart enough. You picked something up and you said, I'd even be happy to help you write those regulations. And I turned to my friend and I said, that's one smart guy. And they appreciated that.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember riding behind you in a car as you were pedaling, and it was very successful. People loved it.
It's kind of, everybody wanted to try it at least once, so it did really well for, 3-4 years. Then I think as people had tried it, it did slow down a little bit, but it was fun during the time I did it.
I think today it would have even more success with the ships coming in and how the restaurants have blossomed.
Definitely. You're not asking me to start it again, are you?
No.
I don't know if I could do it now.
No. But you now have a real estate business.
Mortgage company. Yes.
Which is people go through you.
Model Mortgage, yes. I've been in the mortgage business for as long as just before I moved to Plymouth, so it's about 21 years I've been in the mortgage business. And over the past few years, 3 years ago, I opened up my own mortgage brokerage. It's in the post office building downtown.
Right. It's not an easy thing to do, Mike.
No, there's a lot of compliance in any type of financial business, so there's definitely a lot of work that goes into it, but I find it very satisfying helping people get mortgages to buy their new homes.
Wow.
So
and you're in the post office building.
Yes.
Right downtown.
Yeah.
What, bottom floor or the main floor?
The bottom floor. They
Well-
call it the mezzanine level.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been in there in years.
It's beautiful. The owner of the building gutted it, redid the whole building. The downstairs is beautiful, all exposed brick and just done over very tastefully.
Is he still living on the third floor?
I think he moved out. I believe he lives in Nantucket now, maybe, or down the Cape.
Of course he does, yeah.
But it's a beautiful. The rental units are beautiful there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a historic building. I look at it every time I go by just to drink it in.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when he came before us doing his renovations, and they have the biggest, beautiful old wood windows, and he was asking about changing those out. So we kind of stuck to our guns
Yeah.
and insisted that they maintain those historic
Good.
windows. So it's just, I'm glad we did that, and it looks beautiful.
So how is the mortgage business going? I mean, I know you're busy, but on the whole, what's it doing?
The whole real estate market's been pretty slow lately with the low inventory in the housing market. The rates are starting to come down, but they're historically at higher levels. So there's a lot less activity in the real estate market, and along also with the mortgage industry. But I stay pretty steady, and rates have come down a little bit. So we're starting to see refinances a little bit,
movement.
a little movement. Yeah, we're hoping for a good spring market.
My next door neighbor just put their house on the market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've moved out. The house is still for sale.
Yeah.
I don't know where they went, but that was a surprise.
Yeah, I think what happens is a lot of people, the rates were low for so long, so people have 3-4% interest rates. Over the summer, the rates were at 8%. So someone's not going to move out of their 3% interest rate and buy a house for
Yeah,
an 8%. So I think people are staying still, which is slowing down the inventory in the real estate market.
they did buy a Winnebago, so they could be in that waiting for the house to sell.
That could be, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but I think we're going to see more and more of that with the taxes are going up
true, yeah,
6.9%.
yeah, wow,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
But yeah, and I've noticed a few going down Route 3A down to Cedarville pop up.
yeah. There's houses on the market now, but it's just not at the levels that we used to see in Plymouth. So so hopefully things will start ticking up a little bit.
But there is money out there, Mike.
There is.
There is a lot of money out there.
There is. Yeah.
And it depends on where you are.
Well, I think now too, it's a good time to get ingrained into the real estate and mortgage industry, because when things turn around, you'll be able to hit the ground running. And I think there was over 100,000 loan officers that have left the mortgage business over the past year. So,
Wow.
you know, a market like this kind of thins out the industry, and then you get a good foothold when things turn around.
That's
Yeah,
good for you.
yeah.
Wow.
And my fiance Suzanne is a realtor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
she's adorable.
Yeah, thank you. We've been engaged for a couple of years now,
Yeah.
and we bought a house, as I mentioned, downtown.
Well, she has to be very special because you held out for a long time.
I just waited for the right one.
Yeah. Oh, aren't you wonderful?
Yeah.
That's why I love you. And now you bought another business.
Yeah, where the mortgage industry or finance industry, it has its ups and downs. It's cyclical, and it's been like that, you know.
Yeah.
When you see grass from the 80s, it goes up and down. So I've been wanting to get into something else. I've had probably 7 or 8 businesses over the years, and I wanted to get into, you know, something else that'll kind of maybe offset some of the ups and downs.
And go on its own, sort of,
Sure.
so to speak.
Yeah, right. So get it up and going, and then kind of get it running its own.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine from college, he bought into, or he started a mattress by appointment. It's a discount mattress company, and I started one in Plymouth, and we're located at 91 Carver Road. in the West Plymouth Plaza where the G Pub is.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I have a small space in there. I buy truckloads of mattresses, sell them for 50 to 80% off of retail prices.
And they're new.
They're all brand new in plastic. We have twin, full, queen, king mattresses, box springs, foundations.
So what would a nice queen go for?
I mean, they actually, strangely enough, a queen will start at 150
Oh,
for a small 4-inch foam, which
oh,
might not be good for a lot of people,
yeah.
but they do start at, you can come in and get a $150 mattress, and
Wow.
they'll go up to like 1,300, 1,400. But our same $1,400 mattress is sold at other retailers for like 3,000.
4,000. My
Yeah.
son could not get over what he spent for
Yeah.
his mattress. At the time, and this was 3 years ago, it was like over 3,000.
Yeah, it's crazy the prices. I sell mine a lot cheaper than your typical retail. So, because it's actually mattress by appointment. So, nobody's at the store during the day. People call. I make appointments to meet people one-on-one, like a mattress
Really?
concierge. They'll meet me one-on-one, and we'll show them around, let them lay around, see what they like, pick out their mattress. So, because of that, and I have a small space, I buy by the truckload, so I'm able to keep the prices really low, which is what I like, to be able to offer people a good quality mattress at a lower price.
Now, are you doing this or did you hire somebody?
I'm doing it, and Suzanne's helping me with it. My fiance Suzanne, we're both kind of getting it going. Over time, I'd like to bring somebody in to run it.
Sure.
But just to get it going, I wanted to learn it myself and get things up to speed.
Do they have, is that the number? No, do you have his number to put up on the screen that they could contact? Okay, thank you. So they could contact you, Mike, if, for appointment.
Yeah, that number is my cell phone.
Yeah.
If you want a mortgage or a mattress, same phone number.
Mortgage mattress, M&M.
Well, if you buy a house from Suzanne, get the mortgage from me, and then I'll get you a mattress that you can sleep on.
Tell me about Suzanne. What company is she under?
She is with Home Smart Heritage Realty.
Home Smart Heritage.
Yeah, she's out of Easton.
Oh,
the
wow.
brokerage is in Easton, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she's been in it for a few years.
good for her. Yeah, and
So we keep it in the house.
absolutely, and she's helping you.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, when my first delivery came of like truckload of mattresses, I was moving around, Suzanne jumps in and she was moving mattresses like I've never seen. I couldn't believe the strength of her.
She's a good girl.
She is.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the historic district.
Sure.
But let's start with your job on the historic district. How many in your commission? What you do and the plans.
So I'm the chairman on the Historic Commission. I've been for about 17 or 18 years, and I just enjoy it so much. Like, I literally look forward to going to every meeting, and I typically won't do something unless I enjoy it. When I stopped enjoying the pedicabs, I got out of it. So I really enjoy the Historic District Commission. I find it fascinating. I've always loved history. In a past life, I had stores in Faneuil Hall, and I just love the history of Boston and Faneuil Hall.
Okay.
When I moved down here, I was just, obviously Plymouth. I was just fascinated by the history here. When I had a chance to get on the Historic Commission, I jumped on it, and like I said, I enjoy it immensely.
How many on the commission?
There's 5 and 2 alternates.
Do the alternates go to every meeting?
They do, yeah, they typically do, the alternates, and depending on who isn't there, we rotate with alternates voting.
Voting,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, there's big things. Before I start that, tell me a little bit about Faneuil Hall. You had an office,
A store.
a store in Faneuil Hall. Do you know, you're the first one I ever met.
Well, first I started with I had a kiosk built, and I was selling pictures or something off the kiosk. And then I wanted to open a store, so I went to the Faneuil Hall management, and I said, what type of store are people asking for that I didn't really
They
care what it
need or
was,
want,
that
yeah.
people need.
Yeah,
So funny, it was the first thing they said was perfumes and colognes.
No,
So I did research and found a distributor, opened up a store, and was in there for a few years selling perfumes and colognes.
like olive oil. People will also walk into an olive oil store.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Real olive oil.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it was fun. So I did that, and then Faneuil Hall's tough because it's
yeah.
extremely high rents, and there's nobody in the winter in Faneuil Hall. So
It's very windy, that's why.
yeah, so you can only go so long. So I did that for a while, and
Good for
yeah,
you, Mike.
it
Good
was
for
fun.
you. But back to the commission. So a lot of things are changing, and you have been, but now it's more important, this commission, because you're looking into expanding the district. I would love it to go all the way up the street, up to JB's Corner, but might not be feasible. Tell me what's going on with that.
So I think the impetus of it was the marina, the old ironworks built, the 1860 ironworks building. Um, when they were talking about tearing that down,
Right.
a lot of the neighbors
Woke
got
up.
together. They formed a Bradford
Yes.
neighborhood group, and
I had them on the show.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and we just saw the fire in people's heart that they wanted to save the history. So we instituted the demolition delay on that, which if a building's anywhere in Plymouth is being demolished that's over 75 years, it comes before us
Good.
to determine whether it's historically significant and should be
Preserved.
preserved. So we instituted a demolition delay, and the demolition delay is just one tool. It's not a permanent solution. The demolition delay will just pause it for 1 year. So at the end of the year, literally that 366 day, they can just tear the building down. So we tried to we tried to encourage discussions between the groups and hopefully try to resolve something. And I know there were a lot of options, and I don't think any of them worked out. So once it didn't work out and the demolition delay was over, we thought it'd be a great idea while we had this upsurge from the neighbors to try to expand the district into that area. So we did talk about, up by the training green, down by
Yeah.
Stevens Field, even further down.
Yes.
There's historic areas all over Plymouth. But one thing is money, because one of the first step you have to take is you have to have a study done. So we hired a consultant based on our limited budget. We expanded to the area that we could, get that study completed within our budget. So we had that completed. And
How long did that take, Mike?
that took a couple of months.
Not bad.
Yeah, not too bad, 2-3 months, the study, and then it was submitted to Mass Historic, who has to approve it, and then once they approve it, then we had to hold a public hearing within 90 days.
Right.
So we had 2 informational hearings we invited all the neighbors to. We had a public hearing that was open to the public, talking about it. I think a lot of it was educating residents. I think people, they just hear a historic district coming in, and they feel like they're going to be restricted on anything they can do. And one thing I've tried over the almost 20 years I've been chairman is to really try to compromise and work with people. I don't.
You're a very good listener, and you guide.
So there's not many people we say no to. I mean, and especially over the past, several years, there's been a lot of new products that are available. So we try to help people let them know about new products, and we have architects and historians on the board, on the
Yes,
commission. So
you do.
we work with people, the builders, architects on the commission. We'll make suggestions that people never thought of, and we work hard to try to, we understand people are working hard, and they want to do certain things to their house. So we work hard to try to work alongside them and come up with a solution that works for everybody. So a lot of it was the educating of the people. Some people came up and complained, but once we explained to them how the Historic District Commission works, it's only on elevations that are viewable from a public way, and it's not on maintenance. So people were saying, oh, what if we want to put an air conditioner in our window, put a flag up? That's nothing that we
Yeah.
And interior, it's nothing on the interior. So I think through the education, I think a lot of people, came around, and I think for the most part, I think people seem to be supportive of it. And we started off small because the bigger you make it, the more people you might have that need to be educated. So this is kind of our testing ground. So
Will you go from there, though, if you can?
right, every meeting we have, I know Dickie has come to a few of the meetings and wants to expand into North Plymouth, and people have talked about JB's Corner,
Yeah.
Chiltonville,
Oh,
and Manomet too. There's a lot of areas in Plymouth, so this, we'll see how it goes at town meeting. If this gets, it's a 2/3 vote, so that's a
Right.
high bar. So if it passes town meeting, we might look right into maybe another area. But if it doesn't pass town meeting, we may maybe step back a little bit and reorganize, and maybe down the road visit it again. But there's been an active group in North Plymouth, the cottage housing.
oh yeah.
I think there's about 120 cottage houses left, and one of them we just put a demolition delay on South Spooner Street.
Oh,
And it's,
yeah.
that's a beautiful street with the cottage houses.
Yes.
So, we would definitely, I think that's on our radar as well, to protect those houses.
Excellent. Because that's our history.
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing, the cottage history. I mean, I believe it started in 1824, and it was, one of the first businesses that hired immigrants, women. They had their own schools.
Yeah.
They actually provided housing for their workers,
They
which was,
did.
back then, that was never heard of, so.
I know it always bothered the former selectman Tavares when they took down very historic section of town. That's where the hotel is now,
Right.
and all back there.
Summer Street, right?
Summer Street,
Yeah.
and they ripped down that history. They didn't keep anything.
Right.
If they had kept one or two, that would have been great.
Yeah,
You can't keep tearing down.
right.
I'm not in favor of that.
Right, in the Bradford Street, back in the 80s, they did a study, the Redevelopment Authority, and they considered it to be historically significant, so they had it registered with the it's a nationally registered historic site. So that's just a title in name. It doesn't really offer any protection, but they did say back then that there was a lot of people were in favor of instituting a historic district, but it never went forward.
Yeah.
So back then, it was deemed to be historically significant, but no one went that extra step to put it into a
It
historic
was
district.
easier
Right.
for them.
It's a beautiful street, and I think,
Yeah,
neighbors should be concerned that they don't want to lose the
right.
historic significance of their street.
I'll tell you a little history. We rented out the house in 1990. We were gone from Plymouth from 90 to 95. Kenny was working in Beverly. And I wondered why some of the houses on the waterfront in Rockport, we moved to Rockport, were green. They were forest green. And some of the houses in the next town, Gloucester, were a different color.
Right.
And Essex was a different color. Well, they said they did that for the ships, that they knew they were coming
yeah.
to the right section. It gave them a little bit more to understand where they were.
Right.
And to this day, those houses have those colors.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But people shouldn't worry. Historic district is a wonderful place to have,
Yeah.
and it can be advertised as so.
Right.
And little by little, you can enhance it, do little special things,
Yeah.
So where does it stand now?
So right now, the select board voted unanimously to support it. Advisory and finance voted unanimously to support it. So, once the caucus schedule comes out, we'll go around to the caucuses, try to promote it, and it'll go to town meeting.
Good. I have
Yeah.
a good feeling for it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are the concerns?
I just think general concerns are mostly.
Painting and...
Well, mostly, yeah. So one of the concerns was I don't want somebody to tell me, what limited paints we can use, but we brought in like some historic paint swatches, and there's not a color you can't find in that those swatches. So I mean, it's there's a lot of colors to choose from. So I don't think anybody would be restricted in colors
You're not going to find somebody who wants to paint their house red,
or pink.
yeah, or
Yeah,
pink.
right.
You know.
Yeah, I just think it's more, the more we meet with people and educate them, I think we might even, maybe hold some more informal sessions to maybe educate people on the historic district.
I think it's important to educate the town meeting members coming up to town
Yeah.
meeting. You send certain people in to the caucuses that can,
Yeah.
speak and.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, what we've lost in Plymouth already, I just think it'd be a shame to lose anything else. And, the demolition delay is just one tool. It slows things down, but it doesn't protect. Somebody bought a double lot on Bradford Street, tore the houses down after a year. They can build one big monster house, if they got the right zoning permits.
That's happening in a lot of places, Mike.
So this will help protect.
Yeah.
Another area is White Horse Beach. I mean,
Yeah.
demolition delays at least 2 or 3 a month. We get demolition delays for cottages on White Horse Beach, and a lot of them are just left empty and they're
Rotting.
falling down,
Yeah.
within itself. So we're definitely losing a lot of that. So that would be an area to consider too.
I think so.
I think there's a lot of areas in Plymouth. So
First beach, one of the first beaches I went to, 3 years old, was White Horse Beach.
oh really?
And I remember the sand dunes and walking over them. And there were 2 rundown cottages at the corner there, far end, the south end. And not a lot of houses, just a beautiful beach. I think White Horse Beach is the best beach in Plymouth, better
Yeah.
than Long Beach.
Definitely.
Yeah, but if we don't preserve, it'll be overrun.
Definitely, yeah. And one thing I think about too with historic preservation is, I think thinking of now is kind of short-sighted. Like just think of 50, 100 years from now. Like a historic house that's in Plymouth, who are we to decide that house shouldn't be here anymore? I think we owe it to future generations to continue with the historic character and preservation.
Yet we have, that's why I'd like to see the zoning change on some of these things, because we have, take for instance, it used to be known as the Full Sail on White Horse Beach.
Right.
Cute little outdoor bar you sat at, right there on the sand, at the curb or at the sand, and it's caught on fire once, and the owner won't take it down because
Right.
he's mad at the town. CPC tried to buy it.
Right.
He wouldn't do it. We thought we'd put in a little a parking area or a picnic tables or something for the people. Nope, he won't do it. But if the zoning bylaw changes and it's written, well, things like that can be taken down.
Yeah. Definitely.
Births is
I know.
another thing.
Yeah.
They use it as a write-off, 3 lawyers.
Right. Yeah, I thought I heard they're closer to doing something with that.
I've been hearing this for a long time.
Yeah.
They use it as a write-off.
Yeah. That's too bad. It would be a great spot for something.
I remember it as births,
Yeah.
and nothing's ever come close to that.
Right.
It's a hard restaurant to fill. There's a lot of seats.
Yeah.
And I mean, people have tried, but
There was nothing better than being on that back deck, overlooking the ocean.
that's like the hotel next door, that back deck.
Yeah. That's
Fabulous.
a fun place.
Yeah. There are places you can go. I mean, you take our waterfront, sitting outside. Even Mamma Mia's upstairs. You
Yeah.
can go outside in the summer.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah. There's a new restaurant there too at the Harbor Town, the terrace. That's going to be amazing views up there too.
Betty was telling, where is the terrace?
It's at the Harbor Town at the Rotary, the new building, the big
Oh,
building there.
yes. Oh, yes. I read about very high end.
So it's upstairs in that building.
Okay. Very high end, though.
Yeah. Well, same with 71 degrees. That's in the old Isaacs.
71
71
West.
We went there. It's amazing food.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I went there the first time the other night and just had hors d'oeuvres and a drink. It was good.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice atmosphere.
They have function room too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to Salt.
I love Salt.
You do?
Yeah.
It's different. It's different food,
is.
huh?
Yeah, it's like a Japanese / seafood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's really good.
Salt. And I want to go to Elena's. Up on Long Pond Road. What is it? Elena's?
Oh, right.
I can't think.
Yeah.
But it's in
Lena's.
that. Lena's.
That's great food too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the best chicken parm I think I've ever had in my life there.
Oh, I love that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sauce is good.
It is really good.
I'm fussy because I make a mean sauce.
Well, I'll have to try your sauce, then I
Yeah.
can compare.
Then you can compare.
But you can go on. There's just so many great restaurants in
There are.
Plymouth.
I love Aroma.
Yeah.
Have you been down in
Yeah.
Manamet to go to Aroma?
Or even, is it 42 degrees down in?
And there's 42, but Aroma,
Yeah.
that's where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
And the food is phenomenal.
This turned into a foodie show.
I know. I think I'm hungry. But you sat on the CPC with me, and you were very good. You were always very logical.
Yeah, for I think several years I was a town meeting member for 5 or 6 years.
Guess what? I'm going back.
Oh, you are?
I'm going back to town meeting. I have been forced.
I didn't even know you were off. How long have you been off?
Little before Kenny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up. So I've been off maybe 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But I was on 18.
Yeah, wow. That's good that you're going back.
So I'm going back, hopefully, and that's precinct 7.
Vote for Karen.
We'll see. But there's a lot of good things coming up. And I want to be there for
Yeah,
it.
that's good. Yeah, they'd be lucky to have you.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, so so with the CPC, I was just, starting a second. It was just, I was getting too busy, I had to just
You were...
change my focus.
Yeah.
But I was just love what the CPC does for the town with open space and historic and affordable housing. It was just it's a great tool. I 100% support it and enjoyed the time I was on
I know you did.
the Community Preservation Committee.
I used to watch Bill before, years and years ago when CPC first started. And I used to watch him come up to the podium and speak, go to the caucuses. And I always thought, that's not an easy job.
No, yeah,
So I admired that.
yeah,
But I never went out for anything like that.
yeah,
I never went out for the finance committee. That's over my head.
yeah,
Not that I don't understand finances, but that is a total commitment.
right,
It's like selectmen.
yeah,
Planning board's the same way.
yeah. So you enjoy the CPC?
I do.
Yeah,
It can get rocky,
yeah,
but the heart is there.
right. I think everybody has the same intent and same end goal, so it's just how you get there.
How you get there.
I think there's good discussions
Yeah.
and it's I think it's a great commission.
I'm more vocal. Betty's vocal.
Yeah,
Bill can be vocal. So, it makes for a lively meeting.
yeah. So I've read.
Yeah. Well, everybody's heart is in a good place.
Sure.
So no problem there.
So we're also working, we put together for the first time historic district regulations.
Oh,
It's
tell
it's on
me.
the town's website
Yeah, oh,
under
that's
the
right.
planning and development.
Yeah,
And, we did print out a number of blue books, actual historic district regulations, guidelines. And
are they for who? The Blue Book?
it was given out to, I think we're out of it now because it was
Are
back in
you?
2007.
Oh,
So we're working, because so many things change in historic preservation, materials, colors, um, historic
rules,
preservation
laws.
styles,
Yeah,
and things like that. So we're actually going to have the same consultant who did the guidelines. He's going to come into one of our
do it
next
again.
meetings. We're going to update the guidelines, and
I would love a little book.
yeah, once we print out the
Yeah,
new ones. Yeah,
absolutely.
it's interesting even to read through. I mean, it's different topics of preservation, windows, doors.
I think windows and doors are very important. They had beveled windows.
Yeah,
You know how hard that is?
yeah,
And each pane of glass was real, and it had the real wood in between.
right,
It didn't stick on top or behind.
right,
It was real.
yeah.
To lose that would be a sin.
Yeah, we're pretty, the Secretary of Interior's guidelines on window preservation, they require, or they recommend, to first try to restore or repair windows, and if it can't be repaired or restored, to have a historic window expert do an analysis and an assessment on the windows to see if they can be repaired or restored. And we wouldn't allow it until we get that report back that says that they cannot be restored. They might be rotted or beyond restoration or repair. So we're pretty hardcore on historic windows, especially on Leiden, North, Middle, on the historic, more historic streets where you have some of the older properties. So we really try hard to keep the windows, doors, siding, all as historic as possible. Other
Good.
areas, new construction, we allow other types of siding, like, there's boral siding, ash siding, hardy plank, like a cement type siding. So we're a little more flexible on newer buildings than we are on historic buildings.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about the Symes house, which is a touchy, touchy subject. But something's got to be done
yeah,
because the town can't keep paying for this.
right,
The intent was a good one.
definitely.
And the first curator, the first person in charge of that was John Moody. If everybody remembers John Moody, he was excellent.
Yeah,
And I sat on that committee along with Harry and Harry Helm, my husband, and a lot of other good people, Randy Parker. And we did raise monies, and we made the bylaws and the things of that nature, but we were stymied because the kitchen was not allowed to go in.
right,
Once that happened, that was the end of the Symes house,
yeah,
because we wanted a commercial kitchen to do catering. Somebody could do catering or teaching cooking, chefing, things of that nature. But once that stopped, that was it. And now we're left with a white elephant. There are restrictions on it. I don't know what's going to happen.
yeah. I think it's, in general with the CPC, it's tough to get a group of citizens together to manage a building. I don't think, there have been groups that have done okay, but I think long-term, it's not an easy
It's not, it
managing
was
a property.
horrid.
So, and then, things change over and you lose some of the continuity. I think buildings like the Spire Center, having
Beautiful.
Bob
Oh,
Hollis, I think
but he's excellent.
right. So I think he's done a great job managing it.
Great job.
And the library on North Street, I think they've done a great
The
job
Art
raising money.
Center, yep, they've done an excellent
So I
job.
think those type of groups have been successful, and some groups it's hard to find a group to manage it successfully
Well, if you
over long term.
notice, yeah, if you notice, the Spire and the Art Center are downtown. It would have been nice to have something in another area of town. It was in the back of your mind, you thought, Little Red Schoolhouse. That's a treasure.
Right.
Okay, so let's Manomet make its own little treasure. They were going to put 40B housing there. And the only reason why we got to change that is because the town did not notify anybody that 40B was going in. So when we heard it on town meeting floor, Precinct 7 went crazy, and Precinct 6. And we at least stopped that and said, let's save the house. Well, how do we do that? Well, Bill said, I think I can do it for CPC. But it was an endeavor, a folly.
Yeah.
I wish I could have known then what I know now.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, it kind of for all the successes, it kind of put a little black mark, on the CPC. But
His heart was in the right place.
yeah,
I mean, he believed in that.
I don't think you could have not done it. I think it's, you do have to look at other areas of town, and I think it was a great building to do. And I think everything was in place. I think it was just the management
Couldn't
of
be
the property.
maintained, yeah. What a tragedy that was.
On the plus side, at least the building's restored. It looks beautiful.
It needs paint.
Yeah.
The windows need, that's what reminded me, we were talking about windows. The windows have to be, and they're historic windows.
Any old house has to be maintained, so
Yeah.
once it's not used for a couple
You
of years.
can't, if you don't use it, it starts to go downhill.
Definitely.
And there's leakage.
Yeah. Yeah, that building needs to be occupied, maintained on a regular basis, so
Right. I feel so bad.
yeah, that is a shame.
What do you think is going to happen to parts of Cottage Park? I've seen the plans of years ago. They showed my husband and I. And it was a wonderful plan of how to restore. But it's changed over the years. They had those apartments built. Look pretty good. But what do you think about all the rest of it?
I hope it's maintained and kept and preserved as it is. I mean, it's a big part of Plymouth's history. It would be a shame to see anything altered. I would hope it wouldn't be.
A lot of it is in total disrepair.
Right, there are some of the buildings that are.
Yeah. Then they took down the stack.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for the town manager.
I know.
He got killed on that one. But it was one of those things. I don't know who said take it down. I think it was an inspection.
Right, I think it was a hazard. It was a danger.
Mike, they had to knock that thing 20 times before one brick fell off.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get it.
Yeah, and then there was talk about, I know Bill Cohan from the CPC was talking about saving the bricks and maybe rebuilding it.
Oh, that would have been great.
But I guess they said in the demolition, most of the bricks couldn't be saved, I guess, or weren't in the shape that they could save and rebuild.
Too much cement on them or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was a shame. That was like a waypoint for ships coming in for years.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think of the town wharf? I love what Woods did to
Oh yeah.
their
Yeah, that's
outside.
yeah, it definitely looks a lot nicer now.
That was a great cost to him,
Yeah.
but he wanted to do it.
Yeah. And I guess next door, the Shanty Rose,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be rebuilt. person that owns
Yeah, the wharf.
the um, the restaurant right behind it bought that, and they're going to kind of do a separate restaurant there, a seafood restaurant.
Oh, good. Good. That takeout place
Yeah,
behind it,
yeah,
and they're going to combine it.
right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's gonna look nice. It's we worked with them closely on trying to keep it with the same. Originally they were going to go up a couple of stories, and we could convince them to keep it kind of like the same one level, shanty-looking type of a building. So it should be a nice addition as well.
That's nice. That's nice to
Yeah,
hear. I like that.
yeah.
And the other restaurants, what is it? The Wharf, the
Tavern on the Wharf.
Tavern on the
Yeah.
Wharf. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just got sanctioned.
Oh yeah, yeah. But there's good food there. I like that
Good
place as well.
food. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to see because there hasn't been as many places as lucky in that location.
Well, you weren't here. You weren't here for McGrath's.
No,
You weren't here for the 1620 little.
no.
Fantastic. McGrath's made the best Bloody Mary on the face of the earth. And the fried clams and everything, it was famous, McGrath's.
Yeah,
That's where East Bay Grill is now.
right.
And 1620 was across the street. Now, Jeff Cohen worked in all these places
did he?
cooking,
Really?
and he was in the kitchen as a kid. And 1620, we would go in after our plays. We did plays in the Unitarian Church and the Burlesque Theater. And afterwards, the adults would go to the 1620. And Judge White owned it. And they took that down, he sold it. There's been a lot of changes.
There is. Yeah. But I mean, I think it's a good mix of old and new. I mean, you look at Boston, you'll have a historic property next to a brand new building. So I think you definitely have to maintain your historic character, but there has to be new construction. I mean, in 100 years, they want to look back and see what a house looked like in 2020, 2025.
Right.
So there'll be new periods of architecture.
They took some churches in Boston and made them into condos.
Yeah.
They're beautiful,
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it's like the Armory.
The Armory.
They did a great job in the Registry of Deeds building.
Oh, yes.
They did a great job preserving the building and maintaining the integrity of the character of the building, and also making them condos, apartments.
I think that's one of the nicest buildings in Plymouth.
Yeah. Registry of Deeds building is beautiful.
Yes, the
Yeah.
registry.
Yeah.
I haven't been inside. I know the contractor who did it, the developer who did it, but I haven't been inside to see it. But I've heard that it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I've been inside. Yeah, both actually. I was in the Armory before it was done, and I don't have the vision to see what it could be. And
me
then
too.
when it was done, I was like, how would somebody even
do
that? It was
that?
amazing.
Yeah,
The difference. Same thing with the Registry of Deeds. It was just a old, big, empty interior building, and then to see what it looks like now.
right. Exactly.
So one other good news on the waterfront is the Spire Center. I'm the historic representative on the construction committee there.
Excellent.
So it's just amazing, the preservation group that's working on the construction company, the architects, and it's amazing, like the work they're doing, like the work they've done
That's what
to
Bill
restore the
said.
building.
Yeah.
I mean, they did microscopic analysis of the paint to come up with what would have been closest to the original paint colors, and just what there were. We've gotten as many old photos as we can, and there was some architectural details, cornices that aren't there anymore that we saw in the pictures. So they actually worked with craftsmen to recreate different ornamental elements that were lost over
I
time.
can't wait for it to be done. I went to, excuse me, it's the curtain. I went there
Drink break.
to the synagogue with a few friends when it was the synagogue was there, and I enjoyed that. And I went to see it with Bill, and they were having music, and it was excellent.
Yeah. We've been to a number of musical events there. Just a week or two ago, we were there. It's just a wonderful place to go. Like at the bar before, have a drink, chatting with people, and then you're just so close to the stage.
Right there.
Yeah. They were just working on the weather. They were going to put a weather vane on top, so they were researching the designs, what would have been on a historic church from that time period, and they're just working on fabricating a weather vane.
Have you been to the attic?
Yeah,
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 isn't that something?
it is something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing they're going to do is they're working with a lighting company, so the spire is going to be lit. So it'll be
That's
some nice
fantastic.
exterior lighting on the spire, so it'll kind of show off the spire, and then the stained glass windows, similar to the first church in Town Square. They're going to
Oh,
all the
yes.
stained windows are going to be
We
interior
gave
lit.
money for that. Yep.
So it's going to be it's just going to be an amazing building when it's completed.
Well, remember, of course you'll remember, the Christmas tree on the green there in front of
Yeah.
Town Hall, how that just lit up everything and
Yeah.
just looked wonderful. Now, if the spire does that,
The Spire Center is going to be, you'll see crowds of people taking pictures. It's going to be that beautiful.
well, it is an attraction.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be nice.
He's done such an excellent job.
Yeah, they're hoping to have all the scaffolding down the end of March, middle to end of March.
Yeah, I heard April, but that's okay.
Well, I think April 5th or 10th, beginning of April, they're going to have their 10th year anniversary. So they want everything to be down and ready for that.
Who's coming in? Do you know?
I don't know. No.
It's got to be somebody big.
Yeah, I think he does have some bands lined up, some musical music, and then it's just going to be the public and town people.
I would love to see some 40 music played. I was little. I mean, I was a baby, but I love that music. And wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, we saw a jazz band there recently.
Yeah, I heard that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those there. Yeah, they do a great job.
He should be commended for what he's
Yeah.
done.
And he's in Florida now. Oh, he's been in Florida for the winter, and he zooms in for all the meetings. He stays involved and comes up when he has to, and he does a great job.
He's just a kind, nice man.
He is.
He's been consistent all these years.
Right.
And I just can't get over all the things you've done. Any plans on, I know you're really busy, but what do you have your eye on?
Eventually at some point, I might, my term's up in a couple of years, maybe step away from the Historic Commission at some point and maybe get back to town meeting.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see. See how busy I am, see if, when things settle down a little bit.
Nothing any bigger?
Like?
Selectmen?
No.
No?
Like you said, that's almost a full-time job in itself.
Oh, it is.
I
yeah.
commend people that do that.
Yeah.
Just too many outside things going on that I just couldn't devote the time to that.
Yeah, I don't know how Dickie does it.
Yeah.
He has a full-time, 24/7
Yeah.
job. John works out
Yeah.
of town.
Right.
Harry works.
And you have to be on top of everything. You have a lot of stuff to read. You're hearing from constituents
And they read it.
right.
They'll get, when they talk about packets, it will drive me crazy. And they read it. That's why they want it on a Friday.
Right.
They need all that time. So their weekends are, they've got to make time for all that.
It's enough town meeting. You have to read a thick packet twice a year. They're doing it every week.
But at least town meeting, this is how you tell me how you did it. I kept up all year. I knew what was coming. I would pick up the phone. I would say, what's coming? What is it? Blah, blah, blah. And all year you would keep
Right.
up. it wasn't when you just got the book.
Right.
It took a lot.
But I don't think a lot of town meeting members are like that. I mean, I remember when I was in town meeting, I would look at the person next to me, and they wouldn't even. The book wasn't even opened.
I know. I don't think it's that way anymore.
Yeah.
I think there may be a few, but it's nothing like that anymore. And it's different, Mike.
Good.
And I'm a lobbyist. That's what I did.
Yeah.
To change town meeting's mind was not easy.
Oh, the lunch break at town meeting, that was a pretty
Oh,
big.
that
was an event.
That was the bigger meeting.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
or
where
a
things
break.
happened. Yeah.
A 10 o'clock break.
Yeah.
That's where the law. But I always started lobbying a year in advance.
Yeah.
Trifletti came to me and he put me on a committee to change the way we do town meeting. I said, it'll never fly. He wanted
Oh, the
the
electric. Yeah.
handhelds. He said, it has to. You have to help me do it. I started a year in advance. Oh, they were so against it. It was awful.
It was kind of a night. I was there when it was instituted. It was kind of a nightmare in the beginning.
Yeah. And
was-
then Mike Landis stood up. Oh, all right, he said. Okay, I'll give it a chance. And everybody laughed. But that took a year.
Yeah.
And there were other things like that. The marijuana. My God. That took every strength because medical marijuana helped my husband, you know.
Yeah.
And but it would be nice if you came back.
Yeah. I definitely had something.
You'd be in 3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great
It is a great precinct.
precinct.
It is.
It's run very well.
It is. Great group of people in that precinct.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they meet quite often.
Yeah. They're very involved.
They know what's going on.
Yeah.
They came to the CPC because they want to do some stuff on the green, on that other green,
Oh, yeah.
where that,
The training green.
the training green.
And all the historic district expansion meetings, Jerry Sirico, Dale Weber came to most of them. So, I mean, they're definitely out there.
They're on
and-
top of everything.
Right. They're involved in everything, and that's what a town meeting member should do.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be asked, how do I vote? You don't know that? Mike, thank you so
It was
much.
a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I thank you for being here. This is the guy. You need a mattress or help with the historic district
Or a mortgage.
or a mortgage. This is the man, Mike Tubin. Thank you for tuning in. My next show is February 21st. Red Brook will be here. Thank you very much.